dominant topic tonight is something that's been on the council's mind for a long time, and that's fixing our aging roads and bridges. Talk to people a little bit about what the council is considering to try to meet this challenge.
Yeah, council, as you know, in the past we had discussed different options, and one option that was brought up, and I think we went around different voting precincts and had town hall meetings, was the road tax or vehicle tax, a road tax for your vehicle. And the problem that I have with that, and I think council does as well, a $15 per vehicle road tax is only going to generate about $3.2 million. And right now, a good road that needs some minor stuff, but we're going to get about 1 mile of paving per $650,000. So, you know, for me, as a representative of the people in my district, I just find it hard to palate. You know, we're going to charge everyone, and really it's not going to really knock a dent in what we had, the problem that we have. There was also some discussion, you know, millage increase. Well, one mill, and I think I said in the meeting, was around $1 million. It's actually a little bit less than that. So one millage point tax increase is going to basically do about the same thing as the road fee. It's just going to upset people, make people mad, make me mad, and it's not going to make one bit of difference. You're looking at 1 mile of road. I think the allowable, in order to straighten, we've got 1,531 miles of county roads, and as subdivision and things like that come into play, we accept those roads, so that number will be growing. The problem that we have now is with 1,531 miles of road, the only way I see that we could even knock a dent into repairing, maintaining, upkeeping our roads. And when I say roads, I'm talking bridges, guard railing, safety issues. And the only way, if you did we looked also, and this would be up to the voters, would be like a transportation tax, a 1 cent or less tax. A 1 cent transportation tax would generate $30 million. So
how would that work?
Well, the way that's set up now, it would be, council would vote on allowing it to go on a referendum, and it has to be in a major election or a general election, and the people would vote on it. But what a lot of people don't realize and see, and I question also, is, you know, we have VRBO, we have Lake Hartwell, we have the interstate, 40 miles of interstate in Anderson County. So what would happen, based on just looking at the numbers, about 40% of that revenue is going to be generated by out-of-county people. So, you know, I think if the people did support and pass that, 40% of that burden is going to be on out-of-county visitors.
How will that money be generated?
All right, what they'll do is that money, the way it's set up is it will go on a referendum. For the people, not a referendum, it'll go on a ballot for people to vote on. If it passes, it can be up to 25 years, and it could be less than that, but depending on how, and right now, like I said, today was just a discussion stage. You know, we're trying to determine what we can do, what we need to do, and you know, a lot of council members said we've inherited this, and roads is one of my largest complaints, and I hate to say this, but you can't raise taxes high enough on millage, and I'm opposed to a tax increase. You can't tax road fee, or not a road fee, but the registration deal. I mean, there is it's equivalent to, for me, it's like trying to cut a 20-acre field with a 20-inch push mower. You never end. It's constant. Yeah, it's just basically what it'd be a sales tax, and like I said, it could be up to a penny sales tax. It could be up to 25 years. What'll happen, and one of the issues you have now is, and the state's having it, and they have the gas tax. The state is paving roads in Anderson County. You can get a list of them, but the problem they have is they don't have the companies or to do the paving, and I think that's going to be another issue with the county. We don't really have that many major pavers, so that money would be banked as it's collected to go in, and then we'd bid it out just like we do any other jobs. That money could be in an account drawing interest. So once the roads are paved, and you know, if they're paved but prior to that time, that tax is over with. It is just
And the money could only be used for roads. I think that's
yeah, that money can only be used for roads. It can't be used for anything else. It can't be used for salaries, and that is audited by the state. And the only thing it can be used on, when I say roads, I mean roads, bridges, things of that nature, guardrails, safety stuff. Nothing to go. There won't be anything going towards salaries or going towards a park or anything like that. And that's key. And I think one of the largest hurdles on this, if county decides to put it on there, is just educating the people on what's actually happening there, and also expressing to people, you know, the dire situation that we're in. And I'm chairman of the finance committee, and I sit down, we're looking at budgets, and I'm trying to cut the budget down, or you know, we're looking at, oh, we may have to do a millage increase, and I'm like, no way, I'm not going to increase millage. I will find another way. But as you sit down with the different department heads, you know, I think it was we've got to figure something out here. And the gentleman's answer was, hey, what services do you want to do without? Hey, you can cut it all out, you know, but as you cut this, say, I think it was solid waste. You're like, hey, you know, what do you want? You want the trash piled up? You want, I mean, so there is services being provided for that money, and then as you trim budgets and cut budgets back, you're trimming the services and the products that you're actually providing for the constituents. So it's a fine balance.
Roads, really.
And there's no money left for roads. And I think they discussed in there and I don't have it in front of me, but there was a pie chart, and it showed, you know, the majority of the county's budget is county employees and services that we provide. And a large chunk of that goes to public safety. Our sheriff's department, Sheriff McBride and his team do a great job. So as that budget is there, you look at what's going out for as employees and different programs or different departments that we have, and I'd actually cross-referenced it to other counties, and Anderson County is probably one of the best at doing what we do. And it amazes me that how much money comes into the county, and it is amazing at how much the services and the things that the county provides, what it actually costs. And as you sit down, and I'm a numbers guy, I look at these numbers and you're like, man, I mean, where can you cut, you know? And if you did cut, and you can, you know, there's always room for improvement, and you find that improvement and you're like, it's not going to do anything towards our roads. The improvement that you find, it won't pave, you know, a quarter mile of road. So, I mean, I don't know the answer to paving our roads or bringing our road system up to where it needs to be, but I do know that based on the options that we've looked at, the option that I think looks the best and would actually allow people to see our roads being paved and make a difference, so that, you know, your grandkids or your children, they're not funding this. Sooner or later you got to pay. I mean, and that's the point that we're at right now. And I think Councilman Wright made a great analogy on there. He's like, hey, you know, you're a small business, you can either get more customers or raise your price. And, you know, I'm not going to raise the price, but there isn't any more customers to get either. So I don't know where that balance is, but I do like the fact that it will go on a ballot for the people to vote upon it. And I just want to make sure that the right information, the correct information is provided to the people so they actually know what they're voting on. The other thing I want to, you know, it has to be spent on roads. And I think as you see that, you know, if you did do that, it's going to take time for that money to generate and come in. But as that money is coming in and you know it's coming in, there's possibilities and opportunities to maybe bond. So I would think as soon as that passed, if it did pass, there would be things going, or bids going out, or requests for bids or proposals going out to start paving. And
It'd be for the penny tax, if approved, would be the first time there was adequate funding for roads, probably since they've been trying to do this.
yeah,
Then 30 million a year, and that would,
it was roughly 30 million a year. It was primarily just a discussion. You know, we have looked at several different avenues, which I shared today with you. The next step for council is going to be just to sit down and determine, you know, is this the route we want to go? If it is the route that council wants to go, I think the next step will be a meeting to sit down and determine and get the facts out there. Let's lay everything out so the average voter looks and they can understand and comprehend what's going on. We don't need to, you know, overwhelm people with all these numbers and all these different charts. I mean, let's just, you know, we're all adults here. Hit us between the eyes with the truth. This is what it's going to cost. This is how we're going to fund it. This is how long it's going to take. And just, you know, my thing is, in government, I want to see transparency. And I think someone had brought up in the meeting, I think it may have been Councilman Jimmy Davis, you know, there needs to be something out there to where, you know, if this does happen, you know, the people can go to and see, you know, like an open checkbook, so to speak. You know, they need to see where the money's being spent, and it's got to be spent, and that is through the state, through audits. It has to be spent on roads, and again, when I say roads, I mean roads and bridges. Basically what we discussed, I think our next step again is to sit down and come up with a plan. I think we have until next August to, which on something of this scale is going to move quickly. Also tonight we did a clear bag policy, and that was our first reading on a clear bag policy, and that was through the Sheriff's Department. I think we have lieutenant here that kind of oversees the security for our different county facilities, and a clear bag policy was voted on unanimously tonight on first reading. And what that's going to do is not only for the safety of county employees, but for the safety of the citizens. I mean, it goes, you know, county, the courthouse across the street, this courthouse, the civic center, things of that nature. But what it also did, the way it was brought out, or the ordinance was written, it's written to the fact that, you know, the county library, that is a county building, but the ordinance is in place to allow them to determine if they want to implement it, and if they do implement it, the tools are there for them. You know, at the library, I mean, people walking in with book bags and things of that nature, it's a little harder to enforce, but at the annex building, you know, it's a different story. I think someone had brought up I think Ms. Wilson brought up the fact that, you know, it catch people off guard, we're going to provide bags, but I think, you know, if it does pass, it's going to be, it'll kind of step in a smooth process. It's not, you know, we're going to go out here and lock someone up for coming in with a bag. And I think it's just more of educating the people on it, and then it's just normal policy. And I think Chairman Dunn brought up, you know, the way things are today, you never know. And it not only is it for again the safety of the people that work here at the county. It's also for the safety of our citizens here. So, you know, it's not. I supported it. I think it's a good thing, and the thing is, it was brought up by the sheriff's department. It's something they want to see, and you know, it protects their officers as well. So, I'm glad that we can support our sheriff's department and Sheriff McBride on some of the requests that they make.